Hi everyone, it's me, Coral. I am laying in a pile of books and animals. Howl's here. But also, Salem's back here, and my cat Whitefang's here too, and she does not, well, my cat Whitefang's here. You might have just heard her hiss at me because I touched her, because the dog's also up on the bed. She wants to lay up on the bed, and she won't go away from the dog. She just mean mugs him and hisses at him and gets really close to him so that when he moves she can be upset about it in typical cat fashion. And that's enough of my animal drama. I'm here today with the books. Howl! Oh my god, will you guys stop it? I'm here today with the books that I ended up reading in September, and yeah, I don't know, there were some books. I liked them. I liked what I did read, I guess. I'm filming 3 videos this afternoon because I just don't have time to do that anymore, and so I have 3 videos worth of books on my bed right now. I ended up reading 7 books this month, and actually I finished 2 of them this morning, so it was very close to not being that. It was a weird month. I was in a weird mood. So, out of the 7 that I read, 2 were horror books, 3 were thriller, 1 was a fantasy, and 1 was a true crime novel. And all totaled, I read 2,110 pages, which is about 72 pages a day, which seems like a lot for how much it felt like I read. The years of the books that I read were as follows. The years that they were published, I mean. 1 was published in 1982, 2 from 2016, a 2018 book, 2019 book, and 2 new releases, 2 2020 books. I need to stop letting the animals congregate up here. So as far as star rating goes, nothing below 3-star this month. So I had 2 3-star books, 4 4-star books, and a 5-star book. So the average was 3.8, not bad at all. 6 of them were novels, 1 was a novella. All 7 of them, I would say, are adult books. There's 1 here that gets labeled as YA sometimes, but will you stop it? Christ. But aside from the character being kind of young, stop, you fluffy butt. I wouldn't say that. I don't know. It didn't feel young adult to me. Christ, everything was fine until I sat down, and now everybody's just going to be a fuzzy idiot. First book I'd like to talk to you about today is One by One by Ruth Ware. This is just going to be a short synopsis, a short summary, a short little review, because I did a longer review of this after I finished it, so I will leave a little clicker to that. Got a sneeze. I sneezed. I'm okay. So this is Ruth Ware's newest book. This is a 2020 release, and this is about, well, Ruth Ware writes thriller books, so that's what this is. It's about a company, what do they call them? I don't know, company vacation? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. The company is vacationing together. A retreat, that's what I mean. It's a company retreat. Oh my god, this is just going so terribly. This is a book about a company who has gone on a company retreat to this swanky ski chalet in the French Alps, and things go awry. There was an avalanche and one of their co-workers goes missing, but they're not really sure if she went missing or if there's foul play involved. That's a really very short and brief summary of this, and I thought it was okay. I didn't like it as much as her last book, The Turn of the Key. This one felt more like her earlier works to me, and I know there does seem to be a little bit of a distinction in the way those older one feels compared to how her newer books had felt, I thought. So if you liked her earlier works more than her newer books, I would say definitely pick this up. I'd say pick this up anyways. I thought, I don't know, I didn't think it was all too clever. The reveal wasn't very surprising. It kind of didn't make sense to me. I don't know. That's it, I guess. Read it if you like books. Then on to I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid. This was published in 2000, was this a 2016 book or was this 2018? 2016. I was right the first time. And this is a really short little book that is weird. So this is about a young woman, and she is taking kind of a car ride into the countryside to meet her boyfriend's parents, and she's thinking of ending things, and she's not sure she wants to go on with this trip. And it's just really weird. I think that's all I can tell you about this without, I mean, that's what a lot of this book is about. And I don't know what to tell you other than that. It's a very strange book. And I ended up giving this 4 stars. I liked it. But there were parts of it that definitely felt very long, especially for such a short book. Like, you are in the car with them for a long period of time, and they just seem like people that maybe I wouldn't really want to be friends with that much, because I don't know, it's just a vibe that they give off. And that has nothing to do with the ending either. So I think that's all I can tell you about this. The movie I did not like. I watched the movie. I convinced Zach to watch a movie with me. Well, not that I really had to convince him, but I was like, watch this with me, please. And he did. And I was hyping it up. I'm like, I like this book a lot. It was very strange. And then we were watching the movie, and it's just so long. And I could have read the book in the amount of time that the movie was on my TV for, you know? The acting was all so good. So I'm not sure why I didn't like the movie so much. But Toni Collette's in it, and she is just horror royalty. She is so great. I love her so much. That's all I have to say about I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Okay, so one of the books I finished this morning is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. There's also an introduction by Gillian Flynn and an afterword by her husband, Patton Oswalt. This was also, some of this was written by an investigator named Billy Jensen, and then someone she worked with, I think his name was Paul Haynes. He was also researching the Golden State Killer case, in part with Michelle at the time of her death, because she did die before this was all put together. She was in the process of finishing this up when she died. So very fucking sad, especially knowing that she was working so hard to figure out who the Golden State Killer was, and she died weeks before they cracked the case. So this is a chronicle of the crimes committed by the Golden State Killer, who recently we've discovered is a man named Joseph D'Angelo, who was living in near some of the areas that he tormented people, and he's guilty of like 50 rapes and like I think it's 10 murders. So this guy was the big league. I watch a ton of true crime and I listen to podcasts. I don't read true crime books as much as I used to, but I did that a lot when I was a teenager, and so like this is not new to me, and even this story I've heard before, but really going in depth and hearing about Joseph D'Angelo's crimes, and I don't know, he just was so sinister and insidious, and he's one of the scariest. Oh man, I don't know, I don't like talking about it like that because I feel like that gives him this power that he would enjoy having, because he was such a horrible piece of shit. But this guy's motherfucking scary, I guess. That's all I have to say about it. I had read this about halfway and I put it down, and that was about 2 years ago, and I did a video recently and I talked about this. It was a tag video, and I decided that I was going to finish it, and I did, and I'm glad I did. I give this 4 stars. I think it would have been better if Michelle had been able to put it together herself, but I remember being a little bit confused when I was first reading it because the timeline's really broken up and it's not chronological. It goes from here to here to here a little bit, and that kind of threw me off. But I really liked Michelle's writing, and in the afterword, the part that her fellow investigators put together, they're talking about how, you know, they tried to replicate some of Michelle's voice to finish the book up and they just couldn't, and then, you know, so then it's very blatant that Michelle did not write that part, and I wish she could have. So 4 stars. I think Michelle's writing's great, but like I said, some of the way that they put it together just didn't quite make sense to me. This one, School Days by Robert Hughes. This I'm using for a truck video very soon. This is a book, and that's all I'm going to tell you about it. I thought it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty good. It was entertaining. It was kind of weird. Then I'd like to talk to you about the 5-star read I had this month, which is Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. This was a really powerful little novella. This is about a woman named Chris, and we are meeting her quite a while after her early 20s-year-old son Trey was killed in a car wreck, and she visits the spot where he died, and one day she has a cut that is opened while she's cleaning off his memorial site, and some of the blood drips into the soil, and she always kind of imagines that Trey's with her, but after her blood seeps into the ground in that spot, she believes that she sees what she thinks is him, and it kind of leads into this spiral of, I don't know, it's very grief heavy and sad, and like, if you like happy endings, this probably isn't a book for you. But it is a really well and amazingly written book. I'm really looking forward to reading more from Laurel Hightower. Yeah, I don't think everyone can write novellas, but I think this lady can. So I also read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is a thriller that was written in 2019, and this is Riley Sager's 3rd released book. And I like this. I gave this 4 stars. This is a book about a young woman. What's her name? A young woman named Jules, and she moves into this apartment, but it's very temporary. She's technically like an apartment sitter, and this is like one of those really old cool buildings across the street from Central Park. It has like gargoyles outside of it. It's just like very ornate and beautiful and old, and she gets hired as an apartment sitter because the place doesn't want the apartments to sit vacant while they are awaiting new tenants. It's like a good amount of money and you have a place to live, and so it's an offer that's maybe too good to be true. And while Jules is there, she meets another young woman who is kind of doing the same thing as she is. She's also an apartment sitter, and they're starting to get to know each other, and then suddenly the other woman disappears, and Jules like, what the heck? And it seems like there might be some foul play involved, maybe, but she isn't really sure, and she's kind of gaslit by everybody, and so she's not really sure if she's, you know, overreacting or if something really did happen, and they get to the bottom of it. I liked it. It did get a little slow in the middle where it was like, okay, you know, they're trying to put pieces together, and it didn't seem like they were going anywhere for a while, but then it picked back up, and I ended up really liking the ending. I really liked the other tenants in this apartment building. It very much reminded me of Rosemary's Baby. If you liked that book or that movie, you'd probably like this. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And lastly, I have here Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is the other book that I ended up quickly finishing this morning. This was one of my 5-star predictions, and it didn't get 5 stars. It got 4 stars, but I really thought that this was a good book, and I'm very excited to continue on with the series. This is about a young woman named Mia Corvier, and she lives in a place that's a lot like kind of ancient Italy almost. Mia has a really horrible past. She's from a family that was once wealthy, but her father was accused of treason and murdered, and her mother was also kind of accused of being in cahoots with what was going on, and she gets thrown into like this crazy horrible prison, and Mia is left to fend for herself. Eventually she gets brought up by a man who has ties to some of the darker sides of the city that they live in, and he helps her train to get into this school for assassins, basically. It really reminds me a little bit of the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim, which was fun. So yeah, I mean, that's what this is about, and most of this book is Mia getting through her training and finding out if she's going to be able to be a part of kind of the higher ups in this academy, I guess, that it's like the top of the class becomes these people called the Blades, and they're the ones who get to go out and kill people and stuff like that. So that's what she's training to be. And the academy itself is so much fun. I really love schools with weird, creepy, magical societies and academies and things like that. But I will say that this took me a long time to get into it. There is a big chunk in the beginning that's probably like between like 80 and 100 pages, I'd say, of her getting to this school. And I did not care for that. I almost set the book down. I really had to power through it. So I guess that's, you know, why it did not get a 5-star rating from me. Also, there were some spicy scenes that were like too spicy because, at least for me, because the characters were like 16. I don't know how I felt being an adult and reading teenagers having sex. It was kind of weird for me, especially like the level of the kind of things that they're doing. Made me clutch my pearls a little bit. Not to be a prude, because I don't think that I am. And like maybe that's more okay for teenagers to read this, but like my mind as I was reading this, I'm like, oh, these are babies. What are they doing? Ew, you know, like that. I don't know how I feel about that still. But I give this 4 stars. I really liked everything else about this book. Yeah, I thought it was worth powering through the beginning of the book. That's kind of, I don't know, it felt very sloggy to me, but I ended up really liking it, and I'm excited to get to the second book in the series, hopefully soon. We'll see. But that's all I have. That's what I read in September. As always, let me know what you thought about these, if you've read any of them. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.